What's the point on earning money for your family if you're always too tired to actually be there with them? It's a really common phenomenon that I see across so many dads that I've worked with in the past. And it's actually something that happened to me only a couple of months ago. I've named it the provider trap because it's the trap that I got stuck into. And I see so many guys just get stuck on this hamster wheel where they just can't seem to get off. One of the biggest points in a man's life is when he becomes a father for the first time. He almost steps up into this new role where he stops just wanting to make money for vanity. He stops wanting to have all the fancy things. He doesn't really necessarily want a nice new car, doesn't necessarily want a nice big watch. He doesn't want any of these crazy stuff that people look for before they become a dad. All he really wants is to make sure that his family are provided for and to make sure that his kids have everything they need in order to thrive. And often what happens when this transition comes is that they get stuck in this alternate reality, kind of like this different universe, you could call it, where you're going through an identity change. You've stepped into a different identity, and you don't necessarily feel like you're fulfilling what you need to do. So something usually gets sacrificed, and that's the provider trap. You go all in on being able to provide for your family, and the thing that I usually see get sacrificed is your health and fitness. The issue is when you sacrifice your health and fitness for this, yes, you will make more money, and yes, you will be able to help them and provide for them, but your energy levels will completely decline. You're going to notice you're going to feel much less present in their presence in the evenings when you do come home from work, if you come home from work at all, and you just end up completely switching off. Your body goes into this weird kind of overdrive place where it's kind of like it doesn't know what to do. And the only way I could describe this, and you'll only know that you've been through this if you are actually either in it or you have been in it in the past, is where you come in from a long day at work, and all that's on your brain when you walk in the door is you want to spend time with your kids. You want to spend time with your partner. But for some reason, and you just can't work out what it is, you just can't. You can't be present in the moment. And it's a strange phenomenon. I call it provider trap because it's literally a trap for providers. So you don't have the energy to do anything. You feel like you haven't got the energy to go to the gym. You feel like you haven't got the energy to prep meals for the next day. And you end up just grabbing shit stuff. You go into the press and you grab shit food out of it and you eat it. And you sit down on the couch and you scroll on your phone and you keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And there's never a cut off for this. You never seem to stop scrolling. And I'm going to bring you back and I'm going to tell you my story of how this happened to me, and what it took to actually get me out of this. I've always thought that me and my partner Lorraine have a fantastic relationship. Never really had any massive issues until we had a baby. And I remember one evening I came in. So I took on a lot of extra stuff when my daughter was first born. I obviously run my own business. I'm an online coach. I work with loads and loads of clients every single day. That's literally my job. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. But there was a point where means came to an end, and I also had to get myself a full-time job alongside the job that I was working with my online coaching. So think about the stuff that I was juggling. I was juggling a full-time online coaching business, a full-time job, and I was just learning how to be a dad. So what did I sacrifice? I sacrificed my training. I sacrificed my health and fitness. I sacrificed everything that there was to do with being healthy. I got really, really fat. I got really out of shape. But it's not just how I felt. It wasn't just what I looked like when I did this. It was what ended up happening to my brain, what ended up happening to my nervous system is the thing that I really took away from it. And it was the thing that I really, really wanted to nail in on, because you see a lot of fitness advice online saying you just need to train, you need to be in a calorie deficit. But I genuinely believe there's so much more to that. And it's because I've lived it and I've been in the experience of what it actually feels like to be in the provider trap, is that I know, okay, there's more to it that actually stops you from being able to make the progress. Because even when you want to make progress with your health and fitness, when you're in this zone, you just feel like you don't have the time. You feel like you're not able to. You feel like you haven't got the energy, so you don't do it. You forget about it, you push it to one side and you take on more and more work. But what happens is when you neglect your health and fitness, your energy levels deplete completely. You could be sitting on the couch in the evening and you feel like you're going to fall asleep. You feel completely drained. And this stops presence. So it's having a counterproductive effect than what it's supposed to be having. You think that by working more hours, you're going to be able to provide better for your family. But what your family really want is you. They want you to be there. And they want the best version of you. They don't have the best version of you if you're just driving yourself into the ground when you're working. So I was working 40 hours a week. Then I was working another 25 to 30 hours in my online coaching business. And I was trying to squeeze in some family time as well. And I burnt out, like most men would. I burnt out crazy. I remember I sat down on the couch one evening. This was the breaking point for me. This is where I said, I need to do something about this. I need to do something about this now. Sat on the couch. It was 8 o'clock in the evening. My partner, Lorraine, was really good. She did a nighttime routine with my daughter. She came out and we used to always sit on the couch. We still do to this day. Sit on the couch, have the TV on, don't really pay much attention to it. And I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling through my Instagram. I had loads of messages. I had messages from people who were asking to come join my program. I had messages from people congratulating me on becoming a new dad. I had all sorts of messages on my Instagram, but I didn't open them. I didn't look at them. I didn't go near them. I just scrolled through my news feeds and I don't remember anything of what I was looking at. And I had loads of WhatsApp messages, my current clients, and I did reply to them, but they got half-assed replies because my head was not really in it. It's not a time I'm proud of. When I was doing this one evening, Lorraine turned to me and she said, Gavin, can we have a talk for a minute? Like, can we talk about something? I didn't hear her. It didn't go in. It didn't go into my head. It just went off over my head. And I put my phone down and she asked me what was going on. She said, you're not yourself right now. You're not really in any room. I feel like when I speak to you, you're not listening. I'm going through shit right now as well, but we need to be here for each other. What is happening? I just said to her, I didn't even say anything. I just burst out crying. I broke down into a pile of tears. And I said, Lorraine, honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what to do. I am in a place where I am just so fucking smashed. I feel like there's never enough money in the world. I need to keep making more and more and more money for Grace, our daughter. And she said, Gavin, what is the point in making more money if you're not really here? Grace wants you. That was a turning point for me when I said, right, 100%, you're right. So I said, something needs to give. So at the time, what I did was I just scaled back my business a small bit. Now, when I say scaled it back, I didn't take on any new clients for a little while. Kept my current group of clients and I just scaled back the delivery that I was giving them, which was the best thing because it's now the delivery system that I use and they're actually more supported than they were before. But I was just delivering my program in the wrong way. So that allowed me to pull back a little bit from that job. I also straight away handed in my notice to a full-time job. I got out of that job. I worked there for a couple of weeks, obviously, to work out my notice. But the minute I handed in that notice, my nervous system just relaxed a little bit. And I put a plan in place for myself where I was like, okay, this is what you need to do as your daily non-negotiables. And the daily non-negotiables are really simple. And I think a lot of dads overcomplicate it when it comes to what they need to do on a day-to-day basis in order to support their family. The first one is you need to grow the business in a way that is going to allow Grace to grow. That's the most important thing. And the second one was you need to look after yourself. So my daily non-negotiables now, I need to prioritize stupid, simple stuff. I need to prioritize making sure I have enough food in the press so that I can eat and fuel myself properly. I'd sit down every week and I make sure that I have time in my schedule for 3 sessions in the gym a week. And they're not massively long sessions. The problem why I couldn't stick to my gym sessions in the past was literally because it was so overwhelming because I thought I had to train like a lunatic. I do 3 sessions now and they're 35 to 40 minutes long and they're done. They're out of the way. And because I've been showing up consistently to the gym, it's allowed me to completely change my outlook on everything. I have a nighttime routine. Sounds ridiculous, but I have a nighttime routine where phone's off by a certain time. And I make sure in my calendar every single week that I schedule my time when I'm going to be spending time with Lorraine and Grace. It's in there. It's in there every single week. And that's times when I'm not working. And what's happened as a result is that I'm actually way more present when I'm actually working. So I can get better work done in a shorter amount of time. And I know it's different for some people because yes, I run my own business. I can schedule my own hours. But if you work a 9 to 5, you're still going to have better quality work if you look after yourself. So there's more to it than just, oh, you're a coach and you can pick your hours whenever you want. I was working full-time and I managed to sort this out when I was working full-time and running a business. So that's not an excuse. So the best thing that I've started doing is journaling. I journal every morning to get stuff out of my head and get it on a page, because the reason why you get stuck in this trap in the first place is because there's a guilt cycle. And the guilt cycle shows itself in a really funny way. It's like when you're in the gym, you feel guilty because you think that you need to make more money for your family. And when you're trying to make more money for your family, you feel like you should be at home with your family. And when you're actually at home with your family, again, you feel like you should be out actually working and doing more to make more money. And it's a constant cycle. And what gets sacrificed? Your health and fitness gets sacrificed because you don't want to sacrifice your family. You can't sacrifice money. You don't have a choice. So a couple of really simple steps. If you're feeling like this right now, or you have felt like this in the past, that you can put in place right now to help you move away from this stuff. You can do it and action it right now, this minute. Have a designated wake up and nighttime routine. I'm talking the exact same time every day, even on weekends. Obviously, if there's social events and stuff coming up, you plan around those. But I'm talking wake up at this time, do your thing at this time. Even if you work 9 to 5, waking up at a certain time is going to help you. And then have a designated nighttime routine. Have a designated time when you get into bed and you start winding down and you sleep. That's going to massively, routine will absolutely flip your perspective on life, and it's going to completely relax your nervous system straight away. Have designated times in the week where you get to look after you. I don't give a shit what they say on Instagram or what they say online about it's selfish if you're training because you're a dad and you should be spending time with your kids. Bollocks, right? Just fuck that shit. Just don't listen to that shit. The dad bod is the greatest waste of space term that I've ever heard, and I do not agree with it. So make sure you make priority for yourself in the week. If you try to look after everyone else and you don't look after yourself, then you will continue to pour from an empty cup and you will not be able to give your full self to everyone else. Super important reframe that you need to take away from this video. And finally, make sure you know when to pull back and take a rest. Make sure you know when you're going to spend time with your loved ones, with your family. Because if you really need to think about it, why do you do this stuff in the first place? Why do you need to make more money? So that you can spend time with your family. It's not overly important for you to kill yourself to do that. So hopefully you've taken something from that. Hopefully it's been helpful. If it has, please don't forget to share this video to one of your friends. Maybe you know someone who's going through this stuff right now. Maybe you're a mother and you're listening to this video for some reason, or a sister or whatever, and you know that there's someone going through this stuff. Share this video to them. Let's help them move forward. Get away from this, because this destination where you are right now is not final. You're not stuck here forever. I have been there, I know how it feels, but you can get over this. Trust me.